Top federal criminal defense, Jason Bassett. Federal crimes are prosecuted under federal criminal law and not under state criminal law. Around the country, there are thousands of people facing federal criminal charges such as embezzlement, identity theft, and other white-collar crimes. Federal law and procedure are both unique and complex, and crimes prosecuted at the federal level generally carry harsher sentences and more severe penalties, including life sentences. If you have been accused of a federal offense, you are facing a prosecution involving top prosecutors with all the resources of the federal government. When facing federal criminal charges, an individual must take prompt action to protect his or her best interest and hire a highly experienced federal criminal defense attorney. Defense lawyers are skilled in the courtroom and may be able to provide the legal support you need for your case. New York Federal Criminal Defense Lawyer. As a primary hub for many federal criminal prosecutions, New York sees a myriad of different offenses prosecuted in the United States District Courts for the Eastern and Southern Districts of New York. Lawyers defending against federal criminal charges on Long Island. Federal criminal charges represent some of the most serious crimes in the United States. The law firm of criminal attorney Jason Bassett defends clients accused of all types of federal crimes, including narcotics distribution, racketeering, money laundering, homicide, counterfeiting, conspiracy, firearm offenses, child pornography, computer crimes, Medicare fraud, bank fraud, mortgage fraud, wire fraud, securities fraud, investment schemes, mail fraud, Hobbs Act violations, drug crimes, white-collar crimes. Federal criminal defense process in New York. Investigation. A federal investigation normally begins when investigators start gathering evidence in order to start building a case. Arrest. In most federal criminal matters, federal agents will obtain an arrest warrant authorizing taking the target of the prosecution into custody. Initial appearance or arraignment. Once arrested, federal law requires that a defendant be brought before a magistrate judge without unnecessary delay. Indictment. An indictment can occur either before or after the arrest of the defendant. Discovery. The prosecutor and federal defense attorney will engage in discovery, during which the government must disclose what evidence it claims to have against the defendant and will seek to use it in the trials. Plea bargaining. The prosecutor may offer the defendant a deal to avoid a trial, which normally entails a potentially shorter sentence. Pre-trial motions. Before the trial, both the defense attorney and the prosecutor have the right to file or respond to motions that may affect certain aspects of the trial. Trial: a jury is selected, and after opening arguments, both sides present their cases. Sentencing: if the defendant is convicted, the judge will consider the possible punishment options and sentence the defendant, taking into account the United States sentencing guidelines. Appeal: after sentencing, a defendant may appeal to a higher court. How is a federal court different from a state court? State courts have jurisdiction over state criminal law matters. The federal court decides matters involving federal criminal law and alleged violations of the United States Code. Because federal rules, procedures, and processes are very different from those in state courts, federal criminal lawyers must be experienced in defending criminal cases prosecuted at the federal level. FBI, DEA, and ATF search warrants on Long Island. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI, is the primary federal law enforcement agency of the United States government. The Drug Enforcement Agency, or DEA, focuses specifically on violation of federal drug laws, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or ATF, focuses on the unlawful use, manufacture, and possession of firearms and explosives, acts of arson and bombings, and illegal trafficking of alcohol and tobacco products. The FBI can work closely with the DEA and/or ATF, and often these agencies will work on federal cases that overlap. All three agencies can apply for search warrants when looking for evidence of a crime. What is a grand jury subpoena? A subpoena can be a legally binding document that requires a person to perform a specific task. The Department of Justice uses subpoenas to investigate federal crimes. Criminal defense lawyer for a grand jury subpoena on Long Island. There are multiple types of subpoenas that may be issued by the grand jury. They may ask for sworn testimony, documents, objects, or all three. Depending on the subpoena, one might either be subpoenaed in their individual capacity or as a custodian of records for a business or other entity. What is federal sentencing? Federal sentencing is done in accordance with specific guidelines that judges are required to consider. Sentencing guidelines in federal criminal cases have been written by an independent agency known as the U.S. Sentencing Commission. Federal sentence reduction lawyer on Long Island. At the time of sentencing, applications may be made that can lead to a decrease in the offense level and criminal history category determination, which can lead to a reduced sentence. Pretrial diversion, deferred prosecution. Some defendants will be eligible for pretrial diversion. The U.S. Attorney's Office refers to pretrial diversion as deferred prosecution. Criminal lawyer defending Long Island residents against conspiracy charges. A criminal conspiracy under federal law is a very broad term, and federal prosecutors will frequently bring conspiracy charges in federal cases where there is more than one defendant. Call experienced Long Island federal criminal attorney Jason Bassett to protect your future. If you have been charged with a federal crime, getting skilled and aggressive legal representation is critical. Because federal charges are far more serious than other types of criminal cases with more severe punishments, including many long years in prison, timing is critical and experience is essential. Additionally, the expenses associated with a federal criminal defense case can be significant, so it is important to consult with an experienced attorney who can help you navigate the complexities of the legal system and ensure that you are not unduly burdened by the financial costs of defending yourself in a federal court. Law Offices of Jason Bassett, PC, Criminal Attorney and DWI Lawyer, 320 Carleton Avenue, Suite 4200, Central Islip, New York 11722, United States 631 259 6060 https://bassettlaw.com/practice items/federal defense/